playing waterfront, get that ass. We're getting carried away there, man. Kind of like these people that are talking about the Klitschko Solis fight. This is the Afterfight Afterthought on that. And if you haven't seen the fight, you really don't have to bother watching it, because it really wasn't a fight. They say it was a first round knockout by Vitali Klitschko over Solis. And watching the fight, you know, this is the Afterfight Afterthought, I'll give the beginning, the during, and the after for both fighters, okay? We'll start with the Afterfight, which is the winner, and that's Klitschko, and then I'll go over to Solis, the loser, the Afterthought. Going into this fight, obviously it's a must-win for him. You start looking at, he's 39, how much longer does he have in the tank? How much longer can he continue at this level? The Briggs fight, you know, some other ones, Johnson, people are like, well, he's not knocking him out as much as he used to. There's a problem there. Not really. If you looked at it in any depth, Johnson and Briggs were more, dear God, let me just survive, and not fight, but just survive. So he takes this fight, and people are saying, well, he should be fighting Hay, he should be fighting Adamek. Hay can't fight both brothers at once, regardless of what Hay says. Just throwing that out there, too. He should be fighting Adamek, he should be fighting Povetkin, he should be fighting this guy, he should be fighting that guy. Well, he's fighting Solis. And then a lot of people are building Solis up. He's this great amateur fighter coming up to fight him. And so it's really anymore with the Klitschkos, unless it's Hay, it's going to be a lose-lose. If he wins, he's fighting a guy that's, you know, really unproven in the heavyweights. And if he loses, well, everything's gone, you know. The title, people are going to talk smack about him. Oh, he wasn't crap. Look, he lost to Lewis back in the day. Blah, blah. You know, all that other stuff they're going to drum up, because nobody wants to give the Klitschkos credit. So, and on the other side of that, for the Afterthought with Solis, you know, he's coming into this fight. Everybody's pushing him because people want to see the Klitschkos get beat. I don't know why that is. I don't know why we just can't appreciate champions that we have, but because they're not a go-for-broke style, because they don't take risks and they actually use their brains and fight, you know, people don't like it. So they got Solis coming in there, and he's going to be it. You know, I mean, he beat Savan. That's an amateur fight. He beat Hay. That was an amateur fight. You know, he beat Abragimov. That was an amateur fight. That wasn't the pros. You know, they got a 17. The reality is he's fought professionally 17 times. The quality of opponents, you know, yeah. So he's coming into this fight with majority of the people, I'm going to say, want to see him win, because they just want to see the Klitschko's out of there. You know, and this is this a lose-lose for him? No, because if he loses, everybody loses to Klitschko. If he wins, they're going to knock Klitschko, or are they going to build him up? You know what I'm saying? See, it's that they'll slam Klitschko, but yet at the same time they'll build somebody up, and you can't do both. So going into this, he's notoriously out of shape. Is he going to come into shape? I mean, if he comes in at 160s, he's going to be destroyed. But he comes in at 146 or 246. 146. He wished he ain't seen 146 since he was 8 years old. Anyway, you know, he's going to come in at 246. They're saying this is the best shape he's been in, but if you look at him, he can still afford to lose about 20 pounds. So let's go to the fight. The fight comes down. They're jabbing back and forth. Solis is throwing some shots. Doesn't really look like he's putting everything he's got into him. He's more staying back. He gets some shots off, lands a couple hooks and right hands. Have absolutely no effect on Klitschko. I mean, he shrugs those off like they're flies. I mean, no effect. And then the first meaningful hit catches Solis on the temple, and then he goes down. Fight is over. You know, so I mean, it was that quick, and he goes down. He holds his knee and claims there's an injury. Going over to the afterfight with Vitali. He did what he could do. He can't control what happens to his opponent. You know, the only fighters left, obviously, are Tamaz Adamek, Povetkin, who His trainer Atlas even admitted that he's not ready to step up in class. And David Haye, and that's only if Haye gets past Vladimir. Because if Haye doesn't beat Vladimir, he's got no shot at Vitali. Just throwing that out there. So that's what you're looking at with Vitali. With that, how much longer, how much does he have? Over to Solis, who does have a torn ACL and a torn external meniscus, which I've never really heard of the external part. The torn meniscus, I understand, that's behind the knee and stuff like that. So you're looking at a 1 to 2 year rehab on that, and then coming back and having to reestablish and refight and all that, build himself up. And then he's going to be 32, 33 years old, and you know, who knows if he'll ever regain that ability again. So will Solis, the biggest question is, will Solis even come back to fight, especially after a knee injury like that in your 30s? The bigger thing of this, I think the biggest issue of this is was he injured during the fight? People look and they want to say, oh, well, I saw the canvas turning, you know, and his knee, like, canvas moves in there, believe it or not, guys, when they're fighting, unless it's drawn super tight, and that's when you see a lot of slipping and stuff. But most canvas, you can actually, if it's a puncher's canvas, you can dig in a little bit, and you'll see it move and stuff like that. The possibility is he could have been hit so hard, because there's been guys that have been hit, and their ankles have been broke from getting hit, you know, from the twist of it and stuff like that, or the jolt of it. The knee really didn't involve contact, so it's hard to tell why he would have an ACL injury. But was he injured before this fight even happened? Think about it. If he is injured before the fight and has to pull out, he loses all that money. That money's gone. He's never going to see that money. And let's be honest, if you thought Solis was going to be a true heavyweight champion, you're fooling yourself. But I mean, I guess maybe that's more my opinion than his fans, but I didn't see it that way. So, was he injured before the fight? Because if he pulls out, that money's gone, and Vitali fights the next guy. And then, who knows if Solis ever gets the shot, because eventually Solis is going to have to fight somebody that has some kind of skill. And does the amateur way, does the fighting with your head down and all that stuff, does that transfer over to the pros? So I bring that out too. Was he injured before this fight even happened? I have a friend who has a torn ACL, but he can walk fine. He can even jog forward fine. You know what I'm saying? It's the cuts, it's the angles that hurt. So maybe he tore it beforehand, was able to walk to the ring, and then at the first time he got hit, boom, I'm going down and collect my paycheck, kind of like Fraudley Harrison did. Okay? So that's what I want to propose to you. Maybe that's what happened. Right, Eduardo? You don't want any part of this, do you? I don't blame you, man. It's crazy. Alright, so that's what I want to know. So please comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you think, alright? Well, hey, this is the Big Ragu. I'm out.